Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're here. Kick back and relax to another episode of Two Average Joes with your host from Lake Havasu, Arizona, Tony P., and from Long Beach, California, Joe Kelly. We hope the next hour will enlighten you, educate you, and maybe even give you a moment of reflection. So without further ado, Two Average Joes. Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well over here. You know what, Tony? I don't know, but I bet you didn't know that 4 times more people speak English as a second language than as a native one.
Well, the world's a big place, right? But English is probably the predominant. I mean, in Vietnam, like when I go, all the young kids, they know enough of it, and the older high school, college, they definitely know it. You just don't use it, you lose it type of thing. Just like,
That's true.
I don't know, in school, did you take German or French or anything? Did you take a foreign language?
Well, the thing is I just said, okay, I've got to take 2 years of a foreign language, so I'll take 7th and 8th grade. It'll be 1 year, and then just do 1 year my freshman and get it out of the way. I didn't care. In fact, I did terrible. I remember I know how to say the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish, which makes no sense whatsoever, that you would learn and I still remember the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish.
That's pretty good, because there's probably a lot of people that can't say the American Pledge of Allegiance.
I think I would just like to give it a shot here. So, juro mi lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos. There you go. That's 8th grade
Bravo.
Spanish. And I remember from
Bravo.
8th grade. I can't remember, formulas that might make me rich, but I can remember stuff like that, that and a token might get me on a subway if it's
Bravo,
available.
Jose. Would Jose be the correct term? Is that your name?
They called me Camilo from Kelly.
Yeah. I like that too. It's got a nice ring.
Jose, because I go by Joe Kelly. So Jose, and then my Spanish friends
Now
call
say
me
the whole thing. Jose Camelo?
Jose Camilo Harvey. Camilo.
Sounds like a baseball player.
You know what? But I like the name Caliman. Jose Camilo Harvey. And Caliman is what they used to call me in the kitchen. It's like this hombre muy increíble kind of guy. Yeah,
That is awesome.
It's fun.
Well, listen, I'm going to go. I've got a variety of topics. Know me better, small talk, mindful dilemmas. You've been through all of them. So I'm just going to shuffle them up. And I won't even tell you the topic until after you pick the number. What do you pick? 1 through 5, my friend. What do you got?
I've got 4 this time.
All right. The topic is mindful dilemmas. Mindful dilemmas.
Mindful dilemmas.
Well, we all go through that, right?
Yes, sir.
Should individuals prioritize their own self-interest over the well-being of the community?
See, that's a tough one, because you say you got to put your own mask on yourself before you put it on your child, so you got to make sure your bases are covered. But Zig Ziglar was a guy that I listened to when I was in sales, and he said, what was that he said? He said that if you help as many people get what they need, you will get what you need by default. So it's you have to look at both sides of that coin. I spend more time thinking of other people than myself. And that's, I was just talking to my wife about that. I said, I was talking to God, said, hey, I want more time to myself. He goes, fine, stop following me. Stop being like my son.
But the thing is, when you say community, it's such a, I think community, I think of the town I live in, I think of Lake Havasu Avenue. And it's like, wow, should I prioritize my self-interest over the well-being of the whole community? Yeah, I would need to know some information. How's it going to benefit, right? To what degree and to who?
To me,
one sector. How's that work?
Community is that environment that you're in, the people that you come in contact with on a daily basis. Maybe in a week, you go to all the places you are. This is your community. These are your peeps. That's what community is to me. And in the Bible, that's what it means. It's your community. It's great to be in community. I say that when I lead prayer at church. It's great to be in community today. It really is, because you're with people that care about you. They want your well-being. It's a win-win. So when I think about those kinds of situations, I don't think about selfishness. It's hard for me to be selfish when other people need also. So I would say that I would give more to them than I would take care of myself.
I think you would want to. Well, you're good people. I think I would as well. I don't think I'm selfish for myself, but if someone certainly needed something but again, with me, there's a level of responsibility with that, right? Like, would I just financially throw money towards a person that that was a friend or whatever, but I knew wasn't going to be using it responsibly, or wouldn't pay it back, or should I just give it to him or whatever. It's like, that's different. I mean, to me, there is a degree of accountability to helping people. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, some people just get help from 100 people, right? And they never do shit on their own.
Well, I think that you get what you need, not what you want. If you ask for, I mean, it's like one of those guys that won the lottery, because you'd be surprised the round figure that people came to me was they needed $50,000. All needed
Just
50 grand. That was some round figures. I don't know where they got the figure from, but it's $50,000. So it's like there'll be a figure that people think about. I don't know. I just think it's better to put others before yourself, and then you'll end up benefiting in the long run for it. So that's just what I say. That's what I says me as I drink my coffee here.
well, fire one at me, my friend. What
Okay,
do you got? What do you got on board?
here's something just kind of cool. What is the most incredible weather event you've ever been through in your life?
Well, incredible. And we sort of touched on it before, but it was related to another story when I was talking about, the earthquake, Sierra Madrid or something like that, right outside of like Pasadena, Arcadia,
Right.
1990. My daughter was born. The earthquake was in the morning, right? And previously, I told the story about the lady that died at the racetrack. But anyway, that was a very surreal moment. So then, and I don't know if you consider that weather related. It's nature, right? So it is
Seismographic, I guess.
just like me telling a story about being in a tornado. So anyway, that was the most powerful and the worst one, having been through a few, including the Northridge. But yeah, that one was a surreal situation. I mean, people could have seriously got hurt. It was a big mess. Windows, TVs dropping, glass breaking, women screaming. You're in the maternity ward, right? People just had their baby, and none of them, I told you before, had their baby with them. They were all in incubators, which coincidentally, the nurses were saying they are the safest because of the material that it's made out of, right? Like shit could be dropping on them and they're going to be okay. We need to worry about you women first. So anyway, that was it. Uh, I've been close to some tornadoes, but not like to the point where like I could see it taking shit out. So that would have to be it. That would be the one.
Well, I think there were two events that happened. One when I was back in Washington, D.C., Rockville, Maryland. We had a hailstorm. That hail was a little bit less than the size of golf balls. It was scary, man. Breaking plants, denting cars. You're like, what the hell? I mean, it was something almost biblical, but that freaked me out. And then
Did you get hit?
oh
Like,
no, we you stay inside. You just watch
okay,
something. We moved into a brand new house and had all these brand new plants, and so all the brand new plants are just broken. Everything's just getting pummeled. And your car. And the thing is, on the East Coast, as I do, it's like you don't really have that tricked out vehicle like you do in LA, because you've got
right,
snow and you've got sleet and you've got rain, and so when you buy a car, you make sure you look at the history of it and go, well, spend a lot of time in like Chicago or outside of
right.
maybe Cleveland, Ohio, because it's probably rust down the bottom. So I don't know. I just think that it was when I was that was tough, but the weirdest one was not just the hail. I was in Florida, and it was about 80%.
Yeah.
I had to wait maybe 4 minutes before a lightning bolt struck in my frame, and I caught a picture of it. So it's like that was blue. I mean, there was so much lightning. It's like I'll just put it here. Wait,
Now,
boom.
is it hitting the water?
Oh yeah, it's frying fish, whatever it's
Now,
hitting.
if you were in the water, obviously the water is so vast, it wouldn't kill you. I mean, it's not like a toaster in the tub, but do you think you'd feel anything, or do you have to be within a proximity? Like it must kill some fish.
Yeah, I was thinking right at the point of impact. See, the only experience I have with it as a kid, we'd go out fishing in Georgia on a lake, and we'd have an aluminum boat, and all of a sudden it started to get dark. It's like, oh crap, get back to shore, get back to shore. Because you got to get off the water because
Right,
you're the flattest,
fucking
you're
rowing.
highest thing. It's just like it's crazy. But that's the only experience I had with it. But I
Oh
never
shit!
got struck by lightning. I saw it strike near me. I mean, when I mean near me, maybe about 2 blocks away in a
Right,
park, and I watched it hit a tree and catch the tree on fire. That was trippy. Exploded. It's like hit the tree, and it was like a bam. And we weren't
right.
close enough to take any shrapnel, but it shredded that right at the fork of the tree, the first part of it, the top of it, and it was smoking, and there was a little bit of fire in there from the lightning.
Okay, so I have an interesting side route on this conversation. So we talk about, people's thought of, I guess, in the medieval days, the caveman days or whatever you want to call it. I suppose at that time, I don't even know when the actual time the Bible was written or produced or put out for public. So I don't know how much they related that, but I do, you do know that a lot of the weather related things that took place back then were related to you being punished. Like if there was a hailstorm, they'd be like, okay, who in the village fucked up or whatever, right? So they related that shit, anything, tornado, those are all acts of God and punishment. And indirectly, it's an act of God in the sense that as the creator, and the way the whole earth works, those things are just inevitable of the process. We're going to have rain, we're going to have sun, we're going to have earthquakes, that stuff's going to happen. But back then you have to agree that it was only looked at one way, right? Like what did we do,
Yeah,
and was it ever used intentional? The flooding was intentional.
yeah, there was the if you look at the difference between like the Israelites and then the rest of the world. I mean, the Assyrians, they had to deal with this. I mean, they worshipped, and like all the people that were surrounded, the enemies of Israel, they all had these Asherah and these poles. They were the goddess and the god of the earth. So that's what they worshipped. So they were directly tied with, oh my gosh, if we're getting a famine, it's because we've upset one of them. We need to make it. So just bring a sex or
Right,
a death
right,
offering. Bring
right.
one of your children. Come here, give me a child. Now the Israelis, well, the Hebrews, they thought pretty much the same thing. If something really really bad happened, it's like, what did we do, Father? What did we do? That kind of thing. I don't think that. I mean, there were some things like the flood did happen. There's evidence all over the world that really did happen. So, I mean, there is evidence of that, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it does show one thing because again, if those things are happening and it's because of the way the science is, in regard to Earth, right, and weather and patterns and all that. So we know that the paranoia they had, but I got to tell you, even myself, like even younger and sometimes through life, if something really bad happened to me, I try to be thinking, okay, what did I do, right? But I know, and I used to even laugh at myself for it because I'm like, that is totally because I was brought up Catholic. And that's sort of a Catholic thought process, right? Like if something bad happened to you, you deserved it in a sense.
Right,
Almost First Testament type of stuff.
right.
But so I think that because of that, the natural process that all those items take place, earthquakes, volcano, whatever it is, that is still the creation, and it still can only have happened because of one reason. But it shows that even when bad things happen to you, it's not intent, it's not hate from the Lord, or God. It's not like they used to think where remember the pictures like he'd be throwing a fucking lightning bolt down Rambo. He's all dressed up like he's like, gonna kick your ass.
Headband, her.
That's such a peaceful situation. They don't look at it that way. But he did create the shit that happens.
Right.
And it could hurt you and kill you.
See, there's the way that my thinking is not like, why did this happen to me? It's like, what are you trying to teach me through all this? It's like when I ask you for patience, you give me a bunch of freaking situations where I have to be a patient as son of a bitch to deal with
Right.
things. It's like, see, I'm going to teach you about patience. You're not being patient. It's like, oh no, just give me
Right.
patience. No, I'm going to teach you
Right.
how to be patient. So that's kind of the way it's like that's the way I look at things now. It's when had some bad luck, that bad news that turned to great news about our taxes, and it's like, okay, what'd you teach me about this? What am I learning? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you love me, you bless me, thank you very much. And it wasn't because I was like, wow, what the hell did you do to me? A lot of people do that. It's like, curse God and then I love God, or curse God, love them. No, it's just like, I get challenged all the times, and it's made to refine me. I mean,
Right.
there's something that I think about it really important to me. A refiner's fire. When you take a piece of metal and you throw it into a really hot kiln, it will melt, and the dross, the crap that's in the metal, will rise to the top. But it takes intense heat to remove that crap. And to me, that
Right.
heat is like the pressure that I'm under on certain things. It's like, okay, like, come into work and they say, oh, we have a party of 50 tonight, and it's Thursday night, and your general manager's got the day off, and you're on your own. We don't even have a server for it. So here you go on an apron, and you have to take care of a party of 50 by yourself as a manager, and you're stressed out, but you learn how to prioritize things and get things organized. So you know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's
But I don't complain like, why me? Why me? Why is
right
this
now,
happening to me?
but there are a lot of people that have. I mean, there's probably been a degree of people that have even turned away from belief because of a horrific death in their family. Child was killed by a drunk driver in the car on their bike. Things like that. It's like, why did you take my son? Why did you take my daughter?
Well, I will not say names, but someone I know has been waiting for 10 years with $1 million of legal fees waiting to get possession of their company and make about $50 million. And this person one of the people have told me, well, I know there's no God, because if there was a God, I'd have what I want. And I'm
Right.
thinking, well, that's not really the kind of attitude he wants you to have. He wants you to be grateful for those things. He wants you to be more humble instead of hubris right now. And I bet you those
Right.
things will manifest a little faster. Yeah.
Yeah. Like finances and money even mean shit to God. It's so funny the flesh habits that people have just automatically get translated to him. Like he even gives two flying, like doesn't even know what fucking money is,
Well,
right?
yeah, that's the thing. It's like one expression I always
So
use. It's like, what's God's timing? God's timing is soon. What does that mean? Well, to him, a day could be 1,000 years, or 1,000 years could be a day.
right.
Soon, who knows? It might be 200 years from now. I mean, it was 400 years before the Israelites heard God's voice again through
I
it's
agree.
like, oh my goodness. Anywho, okay, is it your question or mine?
It's yours, and it's our favorite topic. If there was the Olympics for this, you and me could probably compete. I'm just flattering ourselves too much. But small talk, specialty. I'm going to go right down the list. Not going to give you a choice. Number one, if you could visit any famous landmark, where would you go? Any famous landmark? So many great ones.
Well, I'd like to go to the Parthenon.
Yeah, Yasu. Yasu.
Yasu, Yasu. That's my country of choice. If I could come back another nationality, it'd be Greek. I mean, it's like Tikanis Kala. Yes, it's like there's nothing like the Greek people.
Nice. Get some
Yeah.
some good souvlaki. It's hard to find good souvlaki. A lot of places they use cheap cuts of meat, right? It's fucking tough. They don't marinate it enough. You literally got to make that shit back. That's got to marinate like 3 days minimal. You got to break that down. And I mean, you can't afford to use filet, so you got to use some type of sirloin.
Well, there's a restaurant in the LA area. It's called Fantastic Cafe, and it's just like one of those diners where you can get anything from steak and eggs to a sandwich to a burger to, I mean, they've got a varied menu. It's like Chili's but fast food. And so the guys that run it, they're all Greek. It's like this one family is into this. So you walk in and they go, Yasu, no, Yasu, Kitekanis, Kala. And it's like, sit down, my friend. Onion rings for you right now. I get you some. I mean, just really nice to me. But it's like, so I don't remember where we went, because I mean, restaurants have changed over so much since the 80s. But I asked this guy, I said, dude, I know you like your food that you make here, but when you want to go get good Greek food, where do you go? And he wrote down this address. It was in Marina del Rey. I don't remember where it was exactly.
Right.
But it was incredible Greek food. And that's where he went, because he said it was authentic, and his friend's family, ran the place. So it was wonderful. So that's the way
Well, you're Long Beach, right?
I am.
I want to give you the name. You might even know it. You might even have been there already. This is my cousin turned me onto this place. It's a friend of his. First of all, you're in one of the best areas for Greek food. When it comes to Greek food, Long Beach, that whole area there, a little bit of LA, more than you're going to get anywhere else. Like in small cities like where I live, not even happening. But Pita Pataki, have you heard of that? It's in Long Beach.
No, I haven't.
Pita
Pataki.
Pita Pataki, Pitaki. I got some Greek food there for my son's wedding. And they did a great job. Like I said, my nephews always recommended 4.8 on their review. It's on Cherry Avenue in Long Beach, 401 Cherry Avenue. Anyway, check it out. Shout out Pita Pataki. Yasu, get some moussaka, some dolmades, get some hummus, get some skodaya.
Good stuff,
Little
my
Greek
friend.
salad.
See
It's
the
all
thing.
good, buddy.
See the thing is when I was eating Greek food, I was drinking for a month every day, so I don't really remember what it was or where we went. I just remember the food was good.
It's great food, but it's tough. It's like most ethnic food. It's a lot of prep. You just don't whip up a fucking moussaka. The dalmadas are it's like Hispanics making tamales. It's you got to get the family around. You need 4 or 5 sets of hands because you got to be wrapping that shit. Grape leaves. You got to be rolling the grape leaves. And when you're going to do it, it's not like you're going to make. Oh, let's make 12. Oh, you're making 100, maybe 200. You're getting it done because it's a fucking pain in the ass. You, my friend, are very fortunate. I envy you. Long Beach, play the capital of Greek food, at least west of the Rockies.
Well,
You'd
I
probably have to go to Chicago to find a greater concentration.
well, I've got Pita Pataki on Cherry Avenue written down with a 4.8 stars on Yelp, and I will check
Yeah, and
those out and see what they're like.
tell them Tony sent you, and they'll man right off the bat they're just going to say who.
They're gonna go, get the fuck out of here right now.
Oh, the Tony, the Malaka.
Yeah.
Malaka means jerk off in Greek.
Okay. Tell them Tony
So
sent
don't
you.
order that. Don't order that on the menu.
Yeah, I learned that hard way. It's like I remember one time it was a Vietnamese, not Vietnamese, but it was a Tagala from Thai, why am I drawing a mind fart here? Philippines. And my friend said, say good morning, ma'am, to my grandmother. And I walked up and said
Right.
this thing that he told me, and she walked over and smacked him on the back of the head. She said, "Don't you teach him that trash." It's like "Baho Pek Pek," which means
Oh, that's
basically,
awesome.
well, he's told me "Baho Pek Pek," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, a Baho Pek Pek," and she's like, "Maxim." Well, it means really bad smelling female private parts.
Right. Well,
So thank you for. I'm glad she didn't
if the
slap me.
shoe fits.
Sorry, Grandma, wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly.
Oh, what do you got?
Okay. All righty. If you could become fully enlightened instantly on any one subject, what would that subject be? Fully enlightened, complete knowledge base of everything about this subject. It doesn't have to necessarily make you money.
Dude, you always ask me this. Now, this is the second time the same answer came up. We even named a show after it, but I mean, it's the first thing that comes to mind. I can't help it. The book, buddy, the Big B. I would, I would want to complete. I know so little about it. I don't even know they call people that know that what a not a theologist. What is it?
Theologian?
Starts with
A
is that it?
theologian
Is that
is
like a professor of the Bible or
well,
a teacher or a
a
knowledge
theologian.
level?
A theologian is the study of someone who studies theology, which is the spiritual knowledge. It could be any branch of that. It could be Catholicism, it could be Judaism,
Could be
Christianity,
Muslim, could be
could be
okay.
Muslim. So,
So
but
it's a title, but the information or knowledge known is universal.
yeah, and there's a lot of things because there's a lot. I get a lot of throwback from people on certain things. They'll say, you know what? I looked at this history, and if you figured out, it says exactly when the first day of Earth started. And I said, well, that's pretty general. I said because here's the thing: this book is a book that contains history, but it's not a history book. It's a book that contains poetry, but it's not a poetry book. It's a story of one people's chosen people of God's hope to try to get through life with some semblance of righteousness, of being a good person innately, because people are inherently bad; they're not good. So,
It was the original chick. Everyone reads those chicken soup books.
yeah, exactly. Chicken soup for the soul. This is
Where,
God's.
where do you think
Yeah.
there's all that? Where do you think they're stealing all those concepts from?
Hey, the idea of the secret and
I shouldn't
everything.
say stealing.
Well,
That's
they,
harsh,
it's plagiarism if you want to do that, and it's like, and the thing is that it's not copyrighted. He wants you to use it, but it's like use it in a nice way. Don't use it to mess with
right?
people or things. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's a book that I agree with you. That would be the one thing I'd like to be completely knowledgeable, and that means to me also I want to be able to understand and translate in every form that has written word about the Bible. So that would be Judaism. So you'd have to study Hebrew and also
Right.
Greek and Aramaic. So all those three languages I would want to know so I could read all this stuff. And if you could read Aramaic, you could read back to the Anunnaki, back who the back in the first civilization, and so the Sumer, and learn about those kinds of things. And so to me, that would be very, very cool to just have an understanding of that. Hey,
Right.
great answer, man. I'm rocking.
Yeah, because when you think that it's in some way, like if you, let's say you could master that talent, and maybe there's people that try or have, I don't know. But if you could study all of those, wouldn't it be sort of cool if you started like connecting the dots? Like there was a chain of similarities, maybe worded different, right? But the meanings were the same. Do you think that could possibly exist? Because I'd have to think, okay, I don't profess this now as much as like when I was younger, but I used to think to myself when I was more, when you're younger, you're more of a free going liberal, everybody's loved type of thing and whatever. And I used to think, well, bad people would always be accepted, just because you were born into a situation or a religion and you didn't understand it or whatever. So I'm thinking in any aspect, whatever religious avenue you follow, there's still a point of just being a good person, right? Or messages that somehow connect.
Yes, I agree with you.
Have you ever read the Quran?
I started to read some of it. It's really sketchy. I understand it, I don't understand a lot about it, but I have friends of mine who, like this one girl name is Kelly Douglas. And I mean, you talk about a brainchild. She's got, first time I met her, I went to her house for a study, and her van is in the driveway and it says Mensa on the back of it. And Mensa is a society for like people with IQs of over 150 or 140 or something like that.
Really?
So, yeah, so
Wow.
she's a member of Mensa, and she's got a PhD in cultural theology, and she preaches to the Muslim community about Christianity. Very bold. They go off to Turkey once a year.
Yeah, well, when we were talking about, because I know down the road we're going to have a show where we have Shay on, our friend Shay, that we did that show with. She was discussing, we discussed some of her art and her causes, Near's cause. We talk religion, and so I told her we were going to have her on and do a convert the Jews show. I even asked her afterwards. I texted her. I'm like, "Is that an offensive title?" I mean, I don't want to be offensive. She started laughing. She goes, "No, no, no, no! I can't wait." And it'll be really interesting because her perspective is going to be very interesting, and really more than anything, I want to sort of interview the two of you, and because how I know how you are, how I am, I know how she's the same way. We don't get all defensive about our religion, right? If you don't believe what I believe in or whatever, I'm not going to lose 1 second of sleep. I'm not all that fuck, you know what I mean? I'm right, fuck you. So no problem there. She's super cool. But I wanted to sort of interview both of you because there's a lot of times she'll ask me questions and I have sort of an idea or an opinion, but I know there's more to connect it to. So, and it just made me think about, I've heard of even there's one large group, Jews for Christ.
Right.
And it's not abolishing your previous belief entirely, but it gets back to sort of merging it in with the Christian belief. And, so I don't think it's like a total, I want to change you 100%.
That's not what, in fact, that's not even what Jesus said. Jesus said, I did not come to change the law. I came to fulfill the law. I mean, so he did not counter anything to do with the law. But like, right. Give you an example. You can't work on the Sabbath, and the Sabbath means the rabbi of your district will say, okay, from 6 o'clock on Friday to 6 o'clock on Saturday in the evening, you can't do anything but rest. So that means anything like picking up your mat, moving something, that's work. But I mean, so Jesus heals somebody. He waits. He's like, okay, I'm going to wait till it's okay. It's Sabbath. Okay. It's like, now pick up your mat and let's get out of here, to a guy that's been, lame all his life. He gets up and walks, and the priests are like, I can't believe you did that on the Sabbath. That's what their focus was. But he said, let me ask you something. If your donkey fell in a well on the Sabbath, would you let it drown or would you pull it out? So it's like, it's like the Sabbath was made for, the man was made for the Sabbath, not Sabbath for the man. So it's like,
there's always, I would believe, some, circumstances that you couldn't,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean, technically, if you're a doctor or a nurse, what are you going to take Saturday off? Ooh, bad day to cut your arm off. Well, you're going to have to swing back a little after midnight. We'll be able to get you hooked up.
There's a woman that I communicate with in Georgia. She lives in I think, Gainesville, and she's I think she's 71, and I've never met her, but I met her through my cousins. wife, and we've zoomed a couple of times, but mainly I send her scripture every morning. She tells me about her culture and shows me pictures of her family in Israel and all this different stuff. And so it's a great relationship. And she always asks me questions about Christianity. And she goes, the thing I like about you is you never force it down my throat. And I said, look, here's the thing. There's this thing called a parable. And Jesus told a lot of stories in parables. And it wasn't because, why are you doing these stupid stories? It's because only a certain number of people are gonna go, wait a minute. I heard something there I didn't even think about. That's who Christianity is for. It's like there are people that hear it and they go, whatever, hey, what's going on with the Celtics tonight, that kind of thing. But people that go, wait a minute, did you hear what he said? That's pretty amazing. So that's the beauty of Christianity, is that it doesn't preach at you. It stimulates something that maybe is there already.
And hopefully that's part of the crossover. We'll see. Like I said,
Okay.
we have each our own. Fire away, buddy. I'll take another.
Okay. What particular historical document or portion thereof do you think every American should know by heart? I mean, it doesn't matter which piece of history. I don't care if it's the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever, but what do you think that a true American, somebody who says, I'm a American, the patriot, who, that person, what do you think you should?
Well, I would say that this isn't, for one, I don't, so I'm not pretending to. And it's a lofty one. I'm sure there are some people, but I would say, it's almost two things. You'd have to know the Constitution and you'd have to know the Bill of Rights. We already know this. We've talked about it before. I just read about it again the other day. Our forefathers, they knew exactly how it was going to fucking go down. We've talked about this, and they were right. They put that together based on what they already learned. Why the fuck are we repeating it? They told us this is the way it is. And one of the main things that trickles through all of that is do not depend and do not count on your government. And don't even trust your government. Be aware. That's what we were getting away from, was a stern government. And that's why, when top people, politics or whatever, Republican, conservative, I don't care how you look at it, what my thoughts are. Most people who know me know how I think anyway. But the part of the government should be somewhat limited. That's why we have fucking states. States run in the same process, but independently. And that's 50 of them. And that's why we get the luxury of saying, hey, you know what? This is more my lifestyle. I want to go live here. Or I want to go fucking raise vegetables in Canada. Oh, I want to live here. I like I want to live here. It's a big fucking country. Go to the state that suits your lifestyle the most. And then the government should be in charge of securing the border, the military, the highways, slim it down to a fucking dozen things. No education, none of that fucking shit. Leave it to the state. That's my view.
So just real quick, because I'm a huge proponent of education. I just think, and it's like, because I was.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying dissolve it.
No. I'm saying
keep it at a state level.
But see, that would make some states say, well, we don't have to adhere to that standard.
They already do. Dude, you in California, you're going to find this hard to believe because people bitch about the school system in California. Your people in California are well more schooled than those here in Arizona. And I don't care if anyone comes after me. I've never been in the educational system, but I know. And the number one reason I know is because the number of people from California that have moved to Havasu, that's 2 out of every 3, right? 1 comes from the rest of the world. Their children were all a year to a year and a half ahead of the class they were placed in by their age because they don't pay teachers shit here in Arizona. California, you're a teacher, you're going to do all right. They have their own savings. They don't do Social Security. They have their own pension. Teachers in California make a decent living and a great retirement. Arizona, probably a lot of other states go down south, right?
So that's why I would be a proponent of having the government mandate that. So all states...
Right, but we've already had the government mandating it, and this has taken place. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. What did we've had a Department of Education for quite a long time. The difference is still there.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that my dad was an education-minded person. I mean, he worked for IBM. And so their motto was think. I mean, I had that damn little sign. I've got one in my drawer. It's worth about $1,000. I mean, just it's that orange with the silver with the black. It says ink, and that's. I mean, my dad would be at his desk and he'd be doing something. I come in and go, "Hey, Dad," and ask him a question, and he wouldn't even look up. He'd point to the sign and say, I want you to do me a favor. Go in your room and think about that and think of at least two possibilities. I don't even care if they're right, but I want you to use your mind and try to think of two things that could be the answer to that question. He said, don't come in here empty handed. I'm not going to hand feed you. Let's talk about what ideas you have. And so the thing is that I think most people will do the minimum they have to do to get by. And I've got friends in the education system now who are telling me, it's like, dude, people don't even understand calculus anymore, and they're moving on to nursing and stuff like that. You have to understand that quantitative differential at different instantaneous times if you're going to deal with like not just diseases, but I mean medications and stuff. So education is going into the toilet in California. It is, and if it's indicative of if it's better than everything else everywhere else, I feel sorry for Tuvalu, Mississippi. I mean, I do, but it's like I'm not saying that. I think that they should pay teachers everywhere a fair salary, because you're taking care of the person that's going to be taking care of us when we're old. That should scare the crap out of a lot of people that are a little bit younger than us, because we're going to die before things get ugly, you know?
What about this? What about this thought process? And you just sort of mentioned it. When your father gave you those type of instructions, he was in essence teaching you, not just about getting the answer that you wanted, but he was teaching you life lessons that you obviously remember. I also believe two things with the school systems. One, there's too much responsibility put on the school system. How about be a fucking parent? Pick up the slack a little bit where the school is deficient in teaching your kid a particular subject. Challenge your child more. Learn about it. If it's that important to you, pick up the slack a little bit. No different than if you had your kids signed up for t-ball or baseball or whatever, soccer, and they're doing all right and the coach is working with them and stuff, but they need a little extra training on whatever, batting or something specific. Then you take your kid out to the park and you help them practice those things, because the coach has to stay at a certain level with the whole team. So one, I think, some degree as parents, they're like, and a lot of parents learned this during COVID, it was like, now all of a sudden they had to teach shit. And let me tell you, fuck 5 o'clock, fucking margarita, because it's not so fucking easy. So I get it. They do deserve it. But at the same time, if it's that important to you, then you need to focus on it. The other thing about school that I don't like, other than the fact that the teachers talk about shit that's not school related, but that's a whole nother topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother topic, is that there shouldn't be this I don't believe there should be a pre-written, because I think children have specific areas that they're drawn towards. And like you said, if you're interested in a particular profession or job or a study that has to do with calculus or math, then yeah, you should know it, and you should know it well. But if that's not something that's in line with what you're going to do, take courses that help mold your goals. And I don't even want to say goals, because as a young child, they don't really have those type of goals. Interest in themselves are goals. So if a kid is, it's like one of the things here in Havasu I really like. They have this whole other building that the high schoolers can sign up to for credit. They have the extracurriculum things they could use. And they have this whole kitchen, right, where they're teaching these kids how to do production cooking and working in a kitchen and making things and stuff. And I'm like, how fantastic is that? How useful is that? I mean,
well, when I was in New York,
it's fantastic.
My dad moved us back to New York at October of my senior year. Thank you, Dad. I missed my entire senior year. Had to go back to New York. I ended up graduating in January and came back 3 months later. But the thing about New York that I thought was fascinating is that in 7th and 8th grade, they test you. They test every student. And either you have a propensity going towards the academia or you have a propensity towards the trades. And at the freshman year, they sent you to the trade school or they sent you to high school. So even though you'd be going to the same thing, the people that are in the trade schools, they'd be taking courses in their classrooms based on, I'm going to be a plumber. Well, that's a shitty thing. Plumbers, they were making $100,000 a year back then. They can make $500,000 a year. They make good money, and it's skilled.
Correct.
Electrician, plumbers, all that stuff. So they did that, and then there are the guys that I hung out with that were like the valedictorian and the number 3 and number 4 in the class, and they were getting 800s on their SATs. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But they didn't waste this guy's time. over here with
Right.
education when he was amazing with his hands? Why would you do
Right.
that to him? So they give him the
Right.
strength. So that was a smart thing. I would like to see that more often, but
That is exactly in line with what I'm talking about. Let the interest and the ability lean towards the academics that you're going to learn, and instead of learning shit that you know. One, it's fucking stressful because when you're not interested in something like that, it's way more harder to absorb it than you do the subjects you like, right? I mean, it's
right.
completely different. You know what I'm talking about. And why put that almost makes someone be like turned away from education, like, oh, like you're being, I don't want to say bullied, but you're being pressured. You're being
Yeah.
pressured. It's almost like getting your ass kicked at school, right? It's like the night before, shit, I'm going to get my fucking ass kicked tomorrow. Or shit, I got that fucking algebra 3 test tomorrow. I'm fucked, right?
See, I took my
That's
I had
pressure.
in fifth grade, I got custody of my daughter, and I realized how very little skills. I was looking at all these star tests and everything she had done, and she did terrible in English and terrible in math. I mean, there was no reinforcement there. So I told her, I said, I've got these rewards over here for you, but we're going to do something. After school every day, we're going to go to this place that has computers, and you're going to work on your English and your math every day. And it was an hour a day, and she's loving it. Like $150 a week. It was expensive, but the fact is that she got up to the point where she was excelling in both of those subjects and she's doing well. So it helped her performance everywhere else because she didn't have that math anxiety or that English anxiety.
Right.
I can't do it. I'm stupid. No, you're not.
Right.
Nobody ever took the time to teach you. Now, did I help her with English and math? Yeah, but I'm not going to teach her. If she came to me and she goes, Dad, I don't understand the nature of this problem. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's write down. It's this kind of an equation, sets up this way. Now you solve it for me. Perfect, great. So I'd help her that way, but I'm not going to sit there and teach her like this is the addition formula, and this is the multiplication formula. No, I'm not. I let somebody else do that, and I just followed up with the not easy stuff, but specific
But the
stuff.
point is, you brought it all full circle by pointing out again, not just the way that you were raised by your father, but how that transitioned to whether you were going to be able to do it yourself or not. You made sure that the deficiencies in the learning that your child had were covered. So either way, and again, it gets back to my point. Parents need to take responsibility. If it's that fucking important to you, make it happen. If it's not important, no problem. I'm not going to judge you. But if it is important, don't fucking bitch about it
Right.
unless you're fucking, it's like the old thing, with employees and running businesses and running the restaurants, right? Don't just give me your problems. If you're going to come to me and say, hey, it's really fucked up, we can't, blah, 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 you need to have a solution
Right.
with that comment. And then we can go back and forth and we can figure out the best way. But a problem without a solution is just you bitching.
Exactly. That's a good way of exactly.
Right. And if that's all you need to do, I'm cool with that too. Because then I won't have to worry about whatever the topic is that you're bitching about. Because I'll know you just want to get it off your chest. But if you really want to fix the problem, then have a fucking idea.
Wasn't that
Bring
sad?
something to the table.
The smartest thing my grandfather ever taught me about relationships, he says, son, woman does not want you to pull out the slide rule and solve her problem. Sometimes she just
No,
wants to bitch at you about it.
she just wants you to listen. I know.
So he said, just listen, honey, I understand. Hey, is there anything I can do for you? Well, if you need
Right.
something, I'm right here. Thank you. I love you so much. That's the best thing. He says, you
Yeah.
pull out your
No.
slide rule and start to solve the
Dude.
problem, they hate you for it, you know?
Right.
Isn't that terrible?
And unfortunately, it took me, till the last few years to figure that out.
You know,
But you know what? It's our human nature, and you know that it's man's human nature to solve your problem.
I've
It's
gotten
it's
very good at it's like because at my age and because of my physical disabilities, I'm not as physical as I used to be. I mean, I used to be able to bench press a house, and now, I don't have those skills. So I had to do that, help some people with a banquet. They didn't
Well, if it
understand.
makes you feel any better, I could never bench press that much, and I have no reason that I still can't.
It's like they asked me to help them with setting up for this party of 120. And it's like, well, I'm not going to physically do anything, but I can walk in there and go, okay, is this ready? Is this ready? Is that done? So
Right,
you're using is my brain, and that's all I've got to offer you right now. But
right,
still,
right.
you've been bending over backwards thanking me for that. So there's lots of things we can still do, even when we're like just old pieces of work.
That's funny because it reminds me of the story of that kid Billy, and Billy was born with just he had a head, right? And so every day, his parents would talk to him and stuff, and he was getting older, like 4 or 5, and he was seeing all the other kids and stuff. He's like, "Oh man, I just wish I had a body like all the other kids." So his mom says, well, you go to bed tonight and you pray that you have a body, and you do that every night. And so a couple nights later, he wakes up in the morning. He prayed for a couple hours the night before, and he had this body. And he was so happy, He rolled across the street. He went to the park, and he goes, you know what? But the other kids, they're running around, they're having fun. She prayed for some legs. Prayed for legs. A couple days later, wakes up. He's got legs. Fucking stoked, right? Runs out. He goes over to the park. He's watching the kids. He's running around. He's able to be part of them. Mom, man, if I had some arms, I could play baseball. I could throw the ball. I could catch. Well, son, you have to pray for arms when you go to bed. Prays for arms. A couple nights. Wakes up the next day, full body, right? Got the legs, got the arms. Fucking grabs the baseball equipment. Grabs his hat. He's like, Mom, I'm going to go play baseball. I'm going across the street. He's running over to the baseball field. He's crossing the street. Hit by a car. Fucking killed. Moral of the story: quit while you're ahead.
But I'm bumped. I need sound effects.
Don't forget to tip the cocktail waitress.
That's right. Table 13, your pizza's ready. Table 13, your pizza's ready.
Know me better. Know
Okay.
me better. And when I say that, Kelly, Joe, I always mean I want to know you better, not me better.
Okay.
You don't want to know me better. It's a problem. But I want to know you better. Pick a number, my friend.
We'll go 3.
Number 3, what scent or aroma represents you and why? Well, that is a real interesting one. Now, talk about interreflection. What scent or aroma represents you and why?
Look up online while we're talking here on your phone.
Hold on.
Okay.
I got to get through my security code because, the Russians and everybody in the whole world are trying to get into my fucking phone. So I have the security code on. It's the stupidest thing ever. Okay, shoot away. What is it? K?
Yes, it's called KOUROS. Kouros.
Sounds Greek to me.
Look it up.
Most commonly refers to either a famous classic or a famous class of ancient Greek statues or the legendary men's fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent.
Yves Saint Laurent. Okay.
Really? Is this a good one?
Well, here's the thing.
You like this?
Here's the thing. I got turned on to it when I was 24. I have never in my life worn anything else but that. And I have yet to this day met a man who wears it. And I asked the lady at the counter, I said, where are they selling it? They said, Europe. It's a big European, but it's like, this is one of the only scents. I've had guys walk up and go, dude, don't take this the wrong way, but what are you wearing, man? That smells good. And women just go, oh, I love the way you smell. And I just say that's my natural body odor. But it's like, it's this scent that I found and I thought they were going low on it. So I got a couple at one time. And that's what my wife gets me every year for Father's Day. I get her Angel by Douglas, and that's what I wear.
I am going to order a bottle tonight. I want to try it.
It is the most amazing.
I want to smell like you.
Well, I tell you what, it's like people say, compliment. You smell so good. What is that odor? Is that smell? And I said, that's my natural body odor. That's what that is.
Do you want to know what I wear?
What do you wear, Tony?
I guess you're not going to say no. That would be horribly rude. But what I wear is Paco Rabanne 1 million. And I've been wearing that for a few years. And Paco Rabanne 1 million. Look it up. There's probably, it's got a sort of a jazzy looking bottle, but that's not why, but that's Paco Rabanne 1 million. Oh. I've had guys that were just, working and stuff, and they're like, oh, man, what is that cologne? And I'm like, Paco Rabanne. They go, that's nice, right? I mean, like just as a compliment. It might have been my nice ass, but I'm pretty sure it was just the cologne. But anyway, and then if you remember, do you remember you watched The Sopranos?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember, what was his name, Michael? What was the young kid's name?
I know.
Was it Michael?
Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So he goes and they're gonna off this guy, Jimmy the rat, because they think Jimmy's been talking to the feds, right? So he calls me, he's like, hey, I got these 2 hookers, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to come pick you up, right? So he picks him up and they're going up the elevator in this hotel and he's got his tracksuit on, right? And he goes, hey, I didn't have much time to get ready. Do I smell okay? And Michael goes, you smell like Paco Rabanne crawled up your ass and died. Just the way, I mean, it was those little things that made that show so fucking classic. But anyway, Paco Rabanne. But I'm going to order yours.
Hey, I've been blown away. It's like there's nothing else I would rather wear, and I don't. And you know what? I was thinking about it. Is that
it's Greek? I should be wearing it, right? I mean,
well, Kouros, it's a Greek name, but it's I guess the Yves Saint Laurent is a French company, and they chose that name to represent their product. So maybe they used the Greek references for the name, which is fine.
Or maybe they just knew the French were a bunch of pussies, so they wanted a culture that was more manly.
They more manly. They had boyfriends in the battlefields. All right, here you go. What is the most money you have ever found lying on the ground in a public place?
I don't remember. Maybe a couple $100. I don't even remember where it was. I don't think it's never nothing like, a bag fell out of the back of the Brinks truck. I think it was probably a couple $100. Now, if something was in a wallet or something, then I would always figure out a way to return it or bring it to the closest place or call them. But like just cash, just like laying there. Maybe 100 back in the day when they were all rolled up. Someone left one on the table. What? A line and a hundy. Oh, I love this place.
When I was a kid, my dad worked for IBM, and they closed Disneyland once a year from like 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning, and it was all for IBMers. You go there and
Really?
everything was open. You could ride all the rides. It was no E tickets or A tickets or B tickets. This was in the time when they had tickets, and everything was free. And my sister and I, my older sister and I, were hanging out over near where the teacups are, and there's like a little cafe, and we were having a burger, and this guy walks by me and pulls something out of his pocket, and a money clip, bam, fell down, had 100 on the top. I'm like, damn. I mean, it was thick. I mean, nobody would have noticed but me. And I looked down and grab it. My sister's looking at me. I'm like, I know we can't keep this. And she's like, no, you got to give it back. So I went and found the guy and gave it back to him. It was a lot of money, but the most money I found was under a booth at Black Angus in Torrance. It's like there was
like a envelope from the bank fell out of someone's pocket, or
no, I would have been nice to find, but it was some people, and they were in a motorhome because I went out and found them. It was a like a hand tooled leather checkbook, and they weren't clean brand new bills, but there was $1,000 worth of hundreds in
no
there.
shit.
And I'm
Wow.
looking at him going, you know what? And I was pretty corrupt at that time, but I have a conscience about those kind of things. It was an older couple, and they were doing probably retirement, hitting the road, and
Right.
I'm going to steal their pocket monies. No, so I went and
Right.
chased them out.
And quite frankly, back then a grand was like fucking $5 right
Yeah,
now,
it
right?
was. And so I mean, I got him going out of the parking lot, and I went up there, I'm banging on the door, and he stops. He's looking at me, I'm crazy. I'm like, dude, I found your wallet.
Now, this is important because this always is a symbol of class. When you find someone's money and you return it, I can't even imagine not duking somebody, depending on the ratio. Like, okay, like you gave him 1,000 back. There's no way I would let you leave with less than 100, and it would most likely be two. But 100 would be the bare minimum if I felt I was being cheap that day. Did he give you anything?
20.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter the amount.
And
It's
20
the
back
fact
then
that he
was like 40 or
recognized.
50 now. It's like, hell yes, man. We're getting blow tonight, dude. We're getting some blow. We're gonna have some drinks. We're having a good time.
It's a half gram on my way. I'm gonna call my buddy's beeper.
Well, to me, it was like, okay, look, $25 for I can get a quarter of good Coke for $25, and then I got $25 for drinks.
Right.
So
Yeah, and the drinks were like 250
oh yeah.
back then. Okay, one more, buddy, and then we will be signing off.
Yes, sir.
How well do you think you can empathize with other people? How well can you empathize with other people?
Well, I don't know if I would
Putting
call
yourself in their shoes, right? Is that it?
Yeah. Well, empathy is like you're thinking about how they feel about things and how things are affecting them. That's a big part of my life. I mean, I constantly think about that. I'm heartbroken constantly for people who have hardships. It's like I feel badly when people I know are going through troubled times. It's like I pray for those things, and it's like I call it interceding. I intercede, I pray for them. And a lot of times I get what I want to because I'm not selfish about my prayers. I think about other people. So I think empathy is important. I mean, I had a really bad childhood, really bad childhood. I got physically abused. I got mentally abused. And what happens, you either turn into that same monster or you sit there in the corner and say, this shit's never going to happen to me. I'm not going to let this happen to anybody that's around me ever again, ever again. I mean, even with my stepson, when he came home from school and crying, said, they told me I was a stepson, that was steps. And I said, come here, let me show you something. And I went in the backyard and I said, see that coming into the house? Those are steps. Let's go to the front. Those coming into the house that way, those are steps. Those are the only steps in our house, son. There's no other steps. You're my son. And the thing is that it's just you gotta put yourself in other people's positions because you don't know how they feel. I mean, weren't you telling me that you read, my friend read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he never read it before. And I said,
Right,
dude,
I've
I
read
said, The thing is like you have to think about, you never know what's going on in someone's life. You know, the guy that's watching the kids bounce all over the back of the subway and he's pissed off. He's, can you control your kids? And he's like sitting there, he goes, oh,
Right.
sorry, my wife died, you know, so they don't know how to deal with it. So you don't know what people are going through. So always, like when people cut me off, that's still the last bastion I got to work on, is my anger with idiot drivers who are like text while they're driving and stuff like that. I have problems with that. But if there's somebody that, you know, just cuts into me and they may have not, they probably just didn't see me. I mean, no, there's no harm done. Why escalate and get mad? There's no point in that. So I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. But I honestly try to put myself in everybody's position.
I need to be a better. So it's not that I wouldn't say that I don't empathize with people. I mean, certainly there's some people like you losing a daughter. There's no way that I can empathize. There's no way I can put myself in those shoes. There's no way I can mentally feel what you feel. Impossible. I don't care how fucking bad I feel. I can't feel that pain. Not physically, not emotionally, until it happens to you. And even then, it's almost not the proper thing to say, in a sense that, oh, I know what you're going through. Because, well, no, because even that can always be different in a sense.
Yeah.
But I do like what you said about, you pray a lot for other people, and and you don't pray for yourself. And I don't pray a lot for other people. And I probably should. And it's not because I don't believe in this stuff. I just don't. I definitely do at like funerals and stuff like that, because at that point I'm like, please Jesus, please take care of, so and so, because I know, right, they're there now, right? It's go time. But I've never prayed for myself. So it's funny that you mentioned that, and I've never prayed for myself. Is that a personality characteristic, or do you think that's normal with most people, or do you think, I can't even imagine praying for myself? It seems so fucking selfish.
Well,
And I'm not judging people that do. I'm just saying, for me, I'm like, hey, I make my bed, right?
well, more specific. Let's say that a friend of mine's going through a divorce, or there's a chance of a divorce. I pray that that doesn't happen. I don't want that to happen. If it's your will, that's fine. I can't argue with your will, but I don't want that to happen. But with myself, that what I meant is that I don't sit there and go, I don't want this to happen to me. I'm more like, what are you teaching me through this tribulation, this trial right now? Because I'm not having a good time with it, and I'm supposed to be uncomfortable because you get my attention. I'm there.
Right.
What's going on? So I look at that a little bit differently than, it's like, I don't pray for myself. I pray for a discerning spirit. I pray for wisdom.
I usually pick up on the message pretty quick. His message is usually, "Hey, stupid, don't be such a moron." Got it.
Well, it's like I was talking to him the other day. I said, you know what? I think about my neighbor who's just sitting there, just enjoying life and living one day to the next, not stressed about anything. And I'm constantly worried about everybody in my life and all these people. And he says, hey, it's real simple. Stop following me. Stop listening to what my son says, and just go off and be your own person. And you'll have the life that you want, or you think you will. But you won't have the eternity that you want. And that's a
Right.
little bit longer than the life that's almost done now, Kelly. I mean, at 65, it's like, I'll be 65 next month. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? That's ancient. That's
Yeah, I don't want to
ancient.
spoil our show with Shay, but when we were talking about that in our last conversation, she said something like, which a lot of people do. It's a valid question. What if you're wrong? What if we're all wrong? What if, oh, you just turn to dust and, fucking mealworms or whatever. And my thought process was similar to yours in regard to, look at our age and look at the span of life. And I said, well, you know what? I go, it's simple. I go, I'd rather be wrong now than wrong later.
Right.
Because if I'm wrong now, I didn't lose anything. We've said it before. The book, the Bible, if you remove the religious aspects of it, just forget it had nothing to do with Christ, right? Just the Bible. Just read the book. Change the names if you want. Fucking Harry, Joe, Mo, Curly. The lesson is good for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be in Timbuktu. You could be in a fucking jungle, not even talking. It's a life lesson. How to be a good person, how to treat people. I mean, dude, that's it. That's it.
Well,
So,
when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. There's someone very wise told me that, and it's like that's the thing about the Bible. It's like there's a lot of lessons, life lessons. Like this one guy I was watching, it's called A God Who Speaks. That you can watch on YouTube for free. He says, "Here I am reading about my personal struggles that were told to me, described by someone written 3,000 years ago, and they're hitting it on the money." About my problems, my struggles, and it relates so much to me. The only way that could happen is if our Creator told both of us what was going on, showed us. And so that's, you got to, I mean, I believe in intelligent design. I do. It's like, you know, he thought this thing through. You look at the way the body's structured, the way your body works. There's no way a single individual could have thought all that stuff up. It's just, it's miraculous.
Way too intricate. And may I say, for what we know so far.
And if you think about
we haven't even quite figured all this out yet, right?
The Bible was written over like, say, 2,500 years total by like 2,000, no, I think it was 600, 700 people or something like that in different countries with no means of communication. But yet it all fits together seamlessly. It all fits together. These pits, oh, it's like, oh, look, that's a piece that we needed right there. Boom, it all fits together. How do you explain that? And that's the thing. It's like, you know, you can say what you want to, but it's like, I would rather live this way, and then when I die, if nothing happened, I was a better person to everybody around me during life.
Really, in the end, what did you fucking lose? But now that said, the argument, oh, geez, I'm going to get way too ahead on this topic. I should just stop. But no, I won't. The argument can be, well, then, you know, there's a lot of good people that don't believe, but they're good people, right? They're still good people. So, but anyway, we're not even going to go to that, because that opens up a whole nother avenue about sort of what you just said. Well, sure, go on, go help yourself, knock your socks off. But that's not going to get you over here. But anyway, listen, pal, it's been fantastic. What another great round. Always great to hear this perspective. I can't wait. Eventually, I'm going to get some internet, and we're going to be able to take calls, because I'd like to hear some other people's answers to these questions.
I think that's a good idea, young man. Well, thank you for joining us today. We thank you for your time. Tony, it's always a pleasure to see you, brother. Take care and be a good human, man. Adios.